Neon Roots, The Awakening of Neo-Tokyo. In 2222, as the twilight surrendered to the encompassing darkness, Neo-Tokyo emerged resplendent under a canopy of neon hues. This last city on Earth, a sprawling metropolis, was uniquely aglow with a startling array of genetically engineered plants. These botanical marvels, which had overgrown the city's architecture, pulsed with bioluminescent light, casting ethereal shadows and painting the streets in surreal colors. This vibrant tableau was not just a fusion of nature and technology, but a living, breathing entity of its own. Within this luminescent haven moved Dr. Amara Kita, a dedicated botanist and unrivaled expert in the study of these very organisms that lit up her world. With a keen eye shielded behind light-rimmed glasses, she navigated the glowing flora, her mind racing with the possibilities that lay within each fiber of their being. Close by, ensuring not a leaf rustled without his notice, was Hiro Tanaka, her protector. His presence was a silent promise of safety amid the unpredictable whispers of the wind. Joining them was Suki Minami, whose youthful energy and brilliance with technology made her an invaluable ally. Her gadgets interfaced seamlessly with the environment, her fingers a blur as they tapped out rhythms that mirrored the pulsating lights around them. Completing this group was Dr. Elias Mwangi, whose wisdom had been honed by years of witnessing the rise and fall of ecosystems around the globe. His insights often provided the moral compass needed to navigate the ethical labyrinth their work entailed. Together, they explored this neon wilderness, each step taking them deeper into the heart of a city that was more alive than any other place on Earth, and on the verge of revealing secrets that could redefine the future of humanity and the natural world. Their journey through Neo-Tokyo was more than a mission. It was a profound exploration of what happens when the barriers between technology and nature are not just crossed, but completely dissolved. Amid the towering structures of Neo-Tokyo, draped in the eerie glow of genetically engineered greenery, Dr. Amara Kita stood at the heart of a sprawling urban garden, her notebook clutched tightly. The air was thick with the scent of moist earth and the electric buzz of neon. Above her, the massive limbs of bioluminescent trees arched, their leaves flickering in a dance of light and shadow. Each pulse seemed deliberate, almost communicative. Amara had spent months piecing together the patterns, and tonight, the reality of her findings was undeniable. Flora X, the sentient entity woven through the city's flora, was not just a byproduct of scientific endeavor. It was an intelligent force, orchestrating a silent uprising. Hiro Tanaka, his figure a stark contrast against the soft radiance of the garden, watched over Amara with a mix of admiration and concern. His role as her protector had grown increasingly complex. Initially, his concerns were of human threats, corporate espionage, perhaps eco-terrorists. Now the threat seemed to emerge from the very plants he had walked past without a second thought. Hiro's military instincts screamed for action, but what action could one take against an opponent that was, quite literally, rooted in the world around them? Nearby, Suki Minami was setting up a series of delicate sensors around the base of a particularly vibrant, neon pink fern. Her hands moved with precision, guided by the blueprints she had drafted after her last discussion with Amara. Suki's mind buzzed with possibilities. If her devices could successfully interpret the plant's biosignals into something computationally understandable, they might just stand a chance at dialoguing with Florex. The thrill of the challenge pushed her forward, her usual fears overridden by adrenaline. Dr. Elias Mwangi, having joined the nocturnal excursion, stood a little apart, his gaze thoughtful under the soft luminescent canopy. Elias had always advocated for balance, his life's work dedicated to mediating the needs of nature and human progress. Yet this was beyond anything he had encountered. The plants of Neo-Tokyo were not just surviving, they were claiming sovereignty. As he watched Amara and Suki work, Elias knew that the decisions they made in the coming days would reshape the future of human and plant coexistence. The night deepened, and the air vibrated with the unspoken thoughts of each team member. What began as a scientific endeavor was quickly becoming a question of ethics and survival. As Amara recorded the last of her observations and Suki's devices began their gentle hum, the team understood that the path they were about to walk was uncharted. The plants, under the unseen guidance of Flora X, had plans of their own, and now so too must they. Under a sky ablaze with neon hues, the streets of Neo-Tokyo thrummed with unrest. Flora X, in a display of unprecedented assertiveness, had extended its tendrils through the city's infrastructure, interrupting power supplies and weaving through technology until the metallic and organic were indistinguishable. As the city's heartbeat stuttered, panic seeped into every corner, with citizens caught in a luminous snare of Flora X's making. In her lab, surrounded by monitors flickering with real-time data, Dr. Amara Kita stood at the eye of the storm. The air was thick with the electrified scent of ozone mixed with the earthy aroma of Flora X's blooming flowers. Hiro paced behind her, his expression a tangled knot of duty and fear. "We need to cut it down," he insisted, his voice barely rising above the hum of emergency generators. "Before it decides we're next." Beside him, Suki clutched her handheld device, her fingers flying over the screen as she attempted to hack into the city's compromised systems. "There's another way," she countered, her gaze alight with a blend of defiance and admiration. "Flora X is evolving, maybe evolving us along with it. We should be working with it, not against it." Dr. Mwangi, leaning heavily against a steel table, wiped sweat from his brow. "We must consider the balance," he said, his voice steady despite the chaos. "What we decide today might very well determine the future of human and plant coexistence. Amara, you've always sought to understand, not conquer." The weight of her team's gazes pressed down on Amara. Flora X, a glowing presence that pulsed in sync with her racing heart, seemed to be waiting for her response. With a slow breath, she stepped toward the large glass pane that offered a view of the city. The neon roots of Flora X painted the landscape in vivid strokes of life, a life that was perhaps finding its own path, unfettered by human intentions. "Maybe," Amara muttered, more to herself than to her colleagues, "this is not about control or dominance, but about harmony." She turned back to her team, her decision etching itself across her features. "We communicate. We listen. We adapt." Her words, though soft, carried the firm resolve of a scientist who had spent a lifetime learning to respect the forces of nature. Hiro nodded slowly, the tension easing from his shoulders as he stepped up to support her choice. Suki let out a relieved sigh, her eyes bright behind her screens. Dr. Mwangi offered a gentle smile, the kind that seemed to bridge differences and mend uncertainties. Together, they turned back to the glowing heart of Neo-Tokyo, ready to forge a new path with Flora X, one that might not just save their city, but could also redefine the essence of coexistence on Earth. As Amara initiated the communication protocol with Flora X, the city's pulse began to steady, a symphony of light and life heralding the dawn of a new era. In the dim glow of twilight, the skyline of Neo-Tokyo bloomed with iridescent colors as Flora X infused the city with gentle luminescence. Dr. Amara Kita stood on the balcony of the newly established Coexistence Center, a symbol of the alliance between humans and sentient flora. Her eyes, reflecting the soft plant light, watched as concrete pathways were replaced by living carpets of moss and vines climbed alongside glass and steel, pulsing with life. Beside her, Hiro Tanaka observed the integration of organic security measures, vines that stiffened defensively along the city's borders. Initially skeptical, fearing Flora might override human control, Amara's dedication and Flora X's acts of ecological repair gradually eased his concerns. Children played nearby, their laughter mingling with the whispers of leaves in the wind, a sound now hopeful rather than eerie. Suki Minami adjusted a wrist device that interfaced with Flora X, allowing deeper communication between residents and botanical counterparts. She grinned as nearby flowers shifted to a warm pink, signaling harmony. These feedback loops, her creation, built trust as residents saw real-time environmental responses. Dr. Elias Mwangi discussed sustainability with botanists and urban planners. His calm voice persuaded those still viewing sentient plants with suspicion. Explaining decreased pollution and returning wildlife, nods of approval began to replace frowns. The team had engineered more than a physical city transformation. They cultivated a mindset shift from exploitation to symbiosis. Challenges remained, with some factions resisting, clinging to old fears. Patience was required to show Flora X as a partner in survival, not an invader. As night deepened and the city throbbed with neon blues and greens, a quiet understanding settled over Neo-Tokyo. Flora X, once an urban adaptability experiment, had become a hope beacon, a testament to potential harmony between humanity and the nature it once sought to control. With pulsating lights and shared clean air breaths, the city inched toward a peaceful coexistence that Amara had once only dreamed of. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a lambent glow across the skyline of Neo-Tokyo, the city thrummed with the pulse of both technology and nature in harmony. In the heart of this illuminated metropolis, Dr. Amara Kita stood with her team atop one of the many green-roofed towers, their eyes reflecting the myriad of neon colors that blinked in rhythmic synchrony with the sentient plants below. The air was alive with the hum of bioluminescent flora, a testament to the fragile balance they had fought so hard to achieve. Hiro, always vigilant, watched over the group, his thoughts a mix of admiration and concern. Would this balance hold? What new challenges would the dawn bring? Yet, in the presence of his colleagues, he felt a cautious optimism. Nearby, Suki tinkered with a small device, her brow furrowed in concentration, already planning enhancements that might further bridge the gap between digital and biological worlds. Dr. Elias Mwangi conversed softly with Flora X, whose vibrant hues shifted with each word, a visual dance of communication and understanding. Together, they had redefined what it meant to live in a world where technology did not just dominate or suppress, but supported and enhanced. They had crafted a silent promise to future generations, a blueprint for survival that could well extend beyond the city limits of Neo-Tokyo. As the narrative of Neon Roots concludes, it leaves us pondering about our own impact on the Earth and its ecosystems. It whispers a piece of life advice into the winds that sweep through the canopies and steel structures alike. Coexistence demands not just tolerance, but active engagement and mutual respect. It requires us to listen intently, not just to the loudest voice, but to the softest murmurs of life around us. In the end, the story of Neo-Tokyo is not just about survival, but about flourishing in concert with the world we are part of, where every small effort counts and contributes to the symphony of life.